To the outside world, Gypsy Rose Blanchard and her mother Dee Dee had the perfect mother-daughter relationship, but there was something sinister going on. Unknown to almost everyone that knew them, Rose Blanchard was being kept a prisoner by her own mother. What was the story behind this, and what eventually pushed Gypsy Rose Blanchard to murder her own mother in cold blood? In this video, we will take a look at the life of Gypsy Rose Blanchard and how her mother Dee Dee Blanchard kept her from the outside world. Gypsy Rose Blanchard was born in 1991, but shortly after her birth, something very strange happened. Her mother Dee Dee told everyone who cared to listen that her daughter had sleep apnea. This was despite the fact that Gypsy was considered a healthy, beautiful baby. 8 years later, Dee Dee took things up a notch and announced that her daughter had leukemia and muscular dystrophy, adding that she needed a feeding tube and wheelchair to survive. At the hospital, Dee Dee told the doctors that Gypsy suffered from extreme seizures, had problems hearing, and couldn't breathe properly. Immediately, the doctors began a series of treatments on the young girl, giving her numerous drugs and performing countless surgeries. In fact, her mother pushed for a surgery on her daughter's eyes and salivary glands. But the truth was that Gypsy was totally fine. She didn't have cancer, she could eat on her own, and her eyes were working just fine. However, her mother wanted everyone to believe that something was wrong, hence the incessant medical interventions. When the little girl went for tests, the doctors could sometimes see that she had none of the conditions her mother claimed she had. But as soon as the doctor mentions this, Dee Dee would stop seeing this doctor. Also, her past experience as a nurse helped her describe these ailments with accuracy. So most doctors took her word and just began treatment. Also, those who met Dee Dee confessed that she was sweet and charming, and it seemed like she genuinely cared for her daughter. So doctors simply took her word before running any tests. Furthermore, as soon as Gypsy could talk, her mother warned her never to tell the doctors anything and only allow her to do the talking. Gypsy's father also worried about his daughter, but her mother reassured him that she was getting all the care she needed. He even commended her for taking proper care of the little girl. But it didn't take long before friends and family began noticing loopholes in Dee Dee's story. First, they realized that the little girl didn't need a wheelchair to work, nor did she require any special help to eat. However, rather than tell the truth, Dee Dee took her daughter and moved away to another town. At the same time, Gypsy was slowly growing up, and it was becoming harder to stop her from talking. But Dee Dee had one final trick up her sleeves. She began lying about her daughter's age, and even went as far as changing her date of birth on official documents. Also, Dee Dee had become a popular figure at the time, seen universally as the perfect definition of a caring mother. Unfortunately for her, when Gypsy was 14, an anonymous person reported to the authorities that there were no medical reports to back up Dee Dee's claims. Immediately, caseworkers were sent to the family's home, but again, Dee Dee convinced these officials that everything was okay. When Gypsy was 19, she made her first attempt to run away from her mother. It was 2011, and she had just met a man at a science fiction convention. Together, they planned to escape Dee Dee, who, however, caught up with them almost immediately and told the man that Gypsy was a minor, even though her daughter was 19 at the time. When Gypsy returned back home, her mother broke her computer and tied her to her bed. Gypsy would later reveal that her mother also denied her food and hit her hard when she misbehaved. Luckily for Gypsy, she was able to get back online, and on a dating site, she met Nicholas Goodjohn, who she told everything about her life. A few months later, Nicholas traveled down to Gypsy's house, and here he stabbed Dee Dee till she died. Even though Gypsy and Nicholas escaped to Wisconsin, they were soon found by the police and immediately arrested. While most people were initially shocked by Gypsy's actions, considering how caring they thought her mother was, things changed when they found out the truth of the relationship. Later investigations would also reveal that Dee Dee was actually the one with a condition. She is believed to have suffered from a mental disorder called Munchausen syndrome, which caused her to fabricate her daughter's illness and receive sympathy for being such a great mother. Gypsy was eventually sentenced to 10 years in prison, while Nicholas was charged with first-degree murder and was sentenced to life in prison. Even though Gypsy is in prison, she once said she enjoys more freedom now than she did with her mother. Do you think Dee Dee deserved death for all she did to her daughter? Or did Gypsy take things a little too far? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Thanks for watching.